Good evening, I'm Troy Grimshaw and welcome to A Current Affair. Now you may remember that a couple of years ago we covered a story involving a murder-suicide incident with the suspected killer committing suicide after killing his wife and best friend. The case was left untouched for a year, and only last year did newer evidence arise that one of Othello's employees, Iago, may have been a part of the incident. We here at A Current Affair caught up with Mr. Iago to see his side of the story. You won't believe what happened next.
In the sunny suburb of Casey, you'll be hard-pressed to find people not relaxing at the park or having a cuppa at a local cafe. All seems well, that is, until you arrive at 1 Morris King Street. In a shocking twist that has shaken the community, the resident, Mr. Iago, has been labelled a prime suspect of a double homicide and having been involved in the conspiracy of murder.
Police allege that new evidence found in Mr. Iago's deceased wife's diary, as well as testimonials by co-workers with Mr. Iago, and as well as letters sent by Mr. Rodrigo, the man involved in the 2019 nightclub incident, point to a complex twist in what was once a closed case.
When speaking with the surrounding community, shocked neighbours allege Mr. Iago was a quiet man who was active in the local community.
Who are you? Oh, I'd lie. My dog was a good brother. He gave me a ciggy when I was 14. I remember him. Good bloke. I don't think he did the murder. Free my man. Free my man. Oh my god, that was so crazy. It was so scary. You know, he didn't talk much, but I saw him with those funny men with the white costumes and they put the white mask over the face, Ku Klux something. But man, it's so scary. But he didn't talk much, no.
To understand these allegations, we have to turn to Mr. Iago's place of employment, where co-workers allege he had been plotting against his boss for several months.
Records show complaints against Mr. Iago concerning abusive behaviour had been left ignored, with many saying they weren't shocked when the new allegations against Mr. Iago had risen. Rumours regarding Mr. Iago's motives were intertwined with racism and fueled with jealousy. Workers allege him having sudden fits of racism-fueled anger and hearing him often go on in his break how he despised having to work for a black man. The words Black Ram, Barbary Horse and Black Beast are alleged to have been said by Mr. Iago in the description of Othello. It is alleged furthermore that on the night of the nightclub murders, Mr. Iago had forgotten his diary at work, strewn on a table, with hastily written notes of revenge jotted on the paper. It is believed Mr. Iago had suspicion of his boss having a marital affair with Amelia, Mr. Iago's wife. His diary wrote, "Now I do love her too, not out of absolute lust, through peradventure, I stand accountant for as great a sin, but partly led to died my revenge. For that I do suspect the lusty Moor hath leaped into my seat, the thought whereof doth like a poisonous mineral gnaw my innards, and nothing can or shall content my soul, till I am even with him, wife for wife. Or failing so, yet that I put the Moor at least into a jealousy so strong that judgment cannot cure." Moreover, new evidence found in Miss Amelia's diary, police allege, written in the days before her murder, stated fear that Iago was planning a grand and intricate plan to see the demise of his boss, Mr. Othello, as well as his wife and second man. She believed in her diary that Mr. Othello's demise was plotted by Iago in response to a promotion who he believed he deserved more than anyone else being passed along to one Michael Cassio, the man who was conveniently relieved from his position following that all too well-known incident at that Canberra nightclub. Speaking of which, A Current Affair can confirm that a letter sent by Mr. Rodrigo to Mr. Iago points to collusion between the pair in a plot to divide Mr. Othello from his wife, who witnesses allege Mr. Rodrigo had been seeking a relationship. The letter wrote, "The jewels you have had me to deliver to Desdemona would half have corrupted a votarist. You have told me she hath received them, and returned me expectations and comforts of sudden respect and acquaintance, but I find none." Of course, Mr. Rodrigo was the man who was killed in the nightclub incident by Mr. Cassio. Police allege that Mr. Iago had some role in that incident. Whatever the motive, we decided to investigate. We were able to catch Mr. Iago as he was pulling into his driveway.
Kokana Med from the Current Affair. I just want to know what you think about the new allegations against you.
Oh, what?
Who the do you think you are?
Sorry, sir.
Go for me.
We just wanted to talk about, sir. We just wanted to talk about the. Sir, we just wanted to take a. Sir. Sir, I can't have a current affair. We just want to talk about. Sir, I just want to talk to you about your opinion. There you go, folks. We tried.
We waited outside, and it seems Mr. Iago had a change of heart.
Sorry about before, mate. You lot just scared me in that, you know? Long day and that.
No worries,
You wanna
mate.
come inside?
I can't have it from a current affair. Just wanted to get your insight on what you think about the new allegations against you.
Well, let's just talk inside.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah. Mate.
Now, Mr. Iago, is it true that you were involved with the death of Mr. Othello and his wife? And did you stab your wife at the murder site?
Mate, I don't know what you were talking about, and don't you dare bring up that bloody Moore's name in my home and to my face. He killed my wife and left me devastated.
But police are alleging they have evidence showing that you were there at the scene of the crime, and many of your colleagues have stated that you had to have something to do with this, and that...
Yeah, but do any of them have any actual solid evidence? I was a good friend of Othello, and I cherished our relationship, and the time we spent together, and he just turned on me like that. Could you believe him?
Please don't cut me off. Now, according to video surveillance though, sir, a video surveillance obtained at your workplace showed that hours before the incident, he was talking with you and told you to quote unquote deal with Mr. Cassio, and that he would quote unquote deal with his wife. What do you make of this?
See that he killed Desdemona and Emilia and topped it off with himself. What other evidence do you need? Why the hell are you here?
Okay, calm down, sir, calm down. I'm just trying to get your side of the story. Your wife stated in one of her last diary entries that you wanted Desdemona's handkerchief and despised Othello. Is that right?
Look, that bloody ungrateful dog never appreciated what I did for her. She should have known her place and just been kind to me. She psychologically abused me. She wanted my downfall.
Now, as I'm told, in that meeting that we were talking about at your workplace, Mr. Othello allegedly fired Mr. Cassio and handed you a promotion, and he called you Honest Iago. Why didn't you report this to the authorities and to workplace? I think it's because you wanted this to happen, which is why we couldn't find any footage of you saying anything, and all the surveillance we did find was weirdly edited and cropped. What do you have to say about this?
Look, you're painting me as the bad guy, but I'm not. Othello has done so many horrible things to me that Moore ruined my life. He made my wife cheat on me. He gave that idiot Cassio a promotion that he himself couldn't have handled, let alone the title of a superior. People of his kind shouldn't be in the jungle with their spears. They should be in the jungle with their spears and tunics, hunting wild animals. They don't belong in our society. And through all that, I hate him, but I would never want to kill him. I have morals, and I bloody stick to them. Stealing is the most evil act one could take, and taking his life is below me. That man had a weak mind and forced Blaine to share my thoughts. And when you restrict someone's freedom, that's what you get. You're not a copper, are you?
No, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your time, sir. Cheers, I appreciate it.
We were able to provide our findings with the ACT police. They were grateful for the footage, and now Mr. Iago will be attending court in November. To continue following this story and many more, head to 9now.com, where all the latest news and stories are covered. Thank you for your time, and good night.